So the cytoplasm of a red blood cell consists mainly of 33% solution of hemoglobin. So this is about 280 million molecules per cell. This is the red pigment that gives red blood cells their color and their name. And it's known especially for its role in oxygen transport, but it also helps to move carbon dioxide, and it helps in buffering of blood pH. The cytoplasm also contains an enzyme called carbonic anhydrase that catalyzes that reaction. And the role of this in gas transport and pH balance is going to be discussed in later chapters, so we won't hit on that too hard this on this chapter. Glycolipids on the outer membrane of a mature red blood cells help determine a person's blood type. And then the inner membrane surface has cytoskeletal proteins called spectrin and actin. So these help that red blood cells stretch, bend, fold, squeeze through those small capillaries like we just discussed. The hemoglobin structure has 4 protein chains called globins, so 2 alpha chains, 2 beta chains. And then each globin chain is associated with a heme group, so a non-protein that binds with ferrous ion, so iron at its center. And each heme can carry 1 molecule of oxygen, so each hemoglobin can transport up to 4 oxygen molecules. So about 5% of carbon dioxide in blood is also transported by hemoglobin, but it binds to globin rather than the heme, if that makes sense. So the red blood cell count and hemoglobin concentration are super important clinically because they determine the amount of oxygen the blood can carry. So 3 of the most common measurements are the hematocrit, hemoglobin concentration, and the red blood cell count. The hematocrit is also called the packed cell volume, PCV, and it's the percentage of the whole blood volume composed of red blood cells. In men, it normally ranges between 42 and 52%. In women, between 37 and 48%. Again, this is where we were talking about the 4 to 6 liters of blood, how men are going to have more blood than women for general size differences. The hemoglobin concentration of whole blood is normally 13 to 18 grams per deciliter in men and 12 to 16 grams in women. And then the red blood cell count's normally 4.6 to 6.2 million per microliter in men and 4.2 to 5.4 million per microliter in women. So notice that these values tend to be lower in women than in men. Physiological reasons other than size are going to be androgens stimulating red blood cell production, and men have higher androgens than women, so like testosterone, for example. Most women of reproductive age have menstrual loss, but that only happens, once a month, so that doesn't really usually get counted in this. And then the hematocrit is inversely proportional to percentage of body fat, which is greater in women than in men on average. And then men, blood also clots a lot faster, and the skin has fewer blood vessels than in women. So those differences aren't only actually limited to humans. Just from an evolutionary standpoint, their value might lie in the fact that males fight more than females, suffer more injuries, different things like that. So evolutionarily speaking, it does encompass more than just humans.